What's up, people? What's up? What's up? It's Kenneth with 100 Years of Wealth. I hope you're all doing very well. Do me a favor, before I even get into dropping these jewels on you, I want you to go ahead and like and subscribe, comment, do whatever you gotta do, but go ahead and do that now or in the middle of the video or at the end, but go ahead and make that commitment that you will like, subscribe, and comment, because I'm only gonna give you some value that you could hopefully apply to your life. So really quickly, I am in sales. I am a licensed real estate broker, a licensed mortgage broker. I have agents within my company that are out there trying to originate loans or close real estate transactions. And obviously the market has adjusted since, let's say, the start of the year. The question I pose to you is, how do you still produce and create transactions in a market that has shifted? Do you need to turn up your expense on buying leads? Do you need to turn up your activity? What do you need to do to not only survive changes in market, but also thrive? So my perspective is this: a lot of times people get caught up in the mentality of like dumping money on a certain problem, I guess you could say, to produce a solution. Buy more leads, buy more leads, buy more leads. That could produce the results that you want, but in markets that are maybe not as favorable to leads, that might not be the way to go. And when I say not as favorable, I mean the sense that when the rates jump up in the industry, buying refinance leads might not be the smartest use of your funds, because you have such a stigma related to the market right now that a lot of people that would refinance or could refinance are hesitant or likely to hold off because rates are just significantly higher than what they had previously been. So usually you're gonna see a hold off, so it might not be the smartest thing to dump your money into that just to find out that people are still hesitant because interest rates have jumped up. Not to say that you may not be able to make money or produce income from that source, but I think that it might be smarter while the market is in a tougher position to hold on to funds, but increase your output regarding things that don't always cost money, right? Sweat equity related things, you putting out energy and effort in other ways as opposed to just spending money and getting a lead and then trying to close that lead. What if you were spending a little money and maybe creating some flyers and going out looking for hand-to-hand contact and communication to have a better impact on the individual and potentially close transactions that way, or stepping into a community event where it probably doesn't cost you much, but you're able to make contact with people, present your product, and find a solution for some clients that should turn into transactions for yourself. I don't think that it's a smart perspective to like halt all advertising and halt all lead purchasing, things like that. But you do have to be strategic in business to stay in the positive, to stay in the black, and not have more expenses going out than income you're bringing in. So I think just at times where you see an adjustment in the market, you see a shift in transactions, you want to really monitor that and make sure that if you can come up with other ways to generate business that aren't gonna require so much direct expense, going outward, then I would say look at that. Like in our industry, a lot of times we pay to avoid doing certain legwork, which is fine when things are rolling. But when you have to double that expense to get half the result, which happens a lot of times when you see a market shift, it might be better for you to, look at different avenues: door knocking, passing out flyers, doing direct mails, things that may not cost as much as a, purchase lead, to generate business, and figure out if that is a viable avenue for you. That way you keep your expenses low while generating transactions that should pay you the same or similar, but there's not like a big expense attached to generate that transaction. There's more energy and effort, which, sweat equity, that time and labor intensive, things like that. But that's what you have to do in markets like this. You have to put out double the effort to get the same result. What you don't want to be doing is putting out double the effort to get the same result, but spending double and making it to where you're barely breaking even, or just not really having the return that you would expect when you're spending, hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars on lead sources. So that's just a perspective. I currently buy leads still, but I'm also thinking to myself that I need to look at different ways to generate business so that I'm not only relying on the leads, and I don't want to just start dumping money into other things. I'd rather put more energy and effort into reaching out to real estate agents that I can potentially help with loan transactions, reaching out to previous clients to see if they know people that may be in need. You'll be surprised by working your own current network and how much transactions you can just pull out of that from people that are just kind of there hovering, literally kind of waiting for someone to reach out to them and give them some direction or give them some sort of option. So consider that. This isn't like a one size fits all answer, but I think that if you just consider what I'm saying in regards to putting effort into other avenues to generate business that may not be what you consider traditional, like buying leads, but may require a little bit more networking, you going into, like I said, community events, public forums to communicate with people, putting yourself out there in a way that's not costing you money. Maybe it does cost you a little bit of money, but compared to what you were spending on leads, if you can create the traction and connections, more organically without having that big upfront expense, that's something that you can continue to double. Those efforts are something that you can continue to increase, as opposed to with leads, you can't just keep buying and buying and buying leads, right? But going out to different real estate offices and letting them know what loan options you have, you can continue to do that. You'll probably never reach all the real estate offices in your area, and that's just in your area. So if you expand and you really look at your city, your county, your regions, then you see that the sky's the limit, and it really just takes the time, effort, and energy that a lot of people don't want to do. A lot of people want to buy some leads, make some calls, and then the leads work out, which is great when that happens. But my point being is that you can't always just turn up that knob of leads, but what you can do is turn up your effort and energy. That should put you in more contact with those same people, those same people that went online to created an internet lead so that you can call them, and or they can get called back from some different people, different companies. Those same people are the people you're going to run into in public events and public forums, and I think personally when you meet them in person, there's a bigger impact that you have. So take that note, like and subscribe. Hopefully that adds value to what you're trying to do. 100 years of wealth to you and yours. Stay up.